Professors, students, and community members came together tonight at UMD for what they call a teach-in. It's a protest of the Trump administration's action on higher education. Northern News Now's Ryan Hayes was there hearing from some very frustrated people.
This administration does not speak for us.
UMD's Library Rotunda was at capacity Thursday evening with people hearing from a panel of professors sharing what they think of the Trump administration.
Things are happening in this country that shouldn't be happening.
History professor Scott Latterman pointed to ICE raids as evidence he believes the country is veering toward authoritarianism and fascism.
We have students in Minnesota and around the country who are being detained and prepared for deportation in many cases because of protected First Amendment rights.
Latterman pointed specifically to the deportations of college students in relation to Palestine protests.
The Trump administration seems to have no interest in ensuring the protection of that right and is detaining them and preparing to send them outside the country.
Duluth City Council President Therese Tomanek was there and says events like these are vital for democracy.
Many people want us to be divided so that we're not taking action. We need to learn how to speak to each other, and it's so important to have those really robust dialogues, but based on fact.
Latterman says those who are concerned should reach out to their local lawmakers.
Organize, organize, organize. We all have a role to play. Getting out and demonstrating against what we're seeing, contacting our elected officials.
From UMD, Ryan Hayes, Northern News Now.
And last night, you'll remember Ryan covered a conservative event on the UMD campus that drew more than 100 people focused on trans athletes in women's sports. Now, in response to both events, UMD administration say they always welcome respectful disagreement and debate on campus.